Yeah, put me and get some money, put me and get some money, put me and get some money, put G and get some money. No limit, I'm a fucking soul. Oh man. Alright guys, you know what that means. I had a pretty good day today in the market. If you don't know me, this is Migs, Market Open. Let's go ahead and do the midday market recap. Now, the reason why I had such a good day is because I was leaning a little bit more on, we kind of had a direction and in the morning, and I kind of just switched up exactly which way I needed to go and navigated it correctly. Except for this one little hiccup right here with Kodak. We all know that thing is going to go down, but it's a matter of when. So it's a little choppy right now, but well, it was this morning. But it's definitely going to head down lower. It's just a matter of when. But regardless, so let's just go through the first trade. So Kodak, I shorted it. Let's see here. Actually, for us to be able to understand Kodak first, let's look at what we got here. So this is the daily chart. This is basically all the resistance levels that it has above it that I marked out from, I believe, a weekly chart. So it's got all these levels right here that are kind of prevent it from going up. So, and then if you narrow down, you go down to the 6 month. Obviously, everybody knows that Kodak got into the blockchain space or whatnot, but a lot of people know that that's crap. Like, Kodak is a piece of crap company. And obviously it went up from about $3 to $13. Obviously it was overpriced. And then we knew that if there's a gap to fill here between the 1010 and the 760 space or so. And we knew that if it fell below that $10 mark, it was just going to keep falling. So most likely it's going to fill this gap all the way to 7. It might catch some support somewhere, and then, I don't know, really all depends. But I think this thing is going to go back down to 0. Now, so I shorted Kodak. I took it on the 1 minute. Alright, so opening bell down, it flushed. Obviously, it's not any sort of pattern that I trade. If I was just to jump into it, it would be way too risky. I would know where to set my stop. So what you do is you wait for it to test, come back up here, and it get rejected. So that means it can't go any higher. And I shorted it right at 925. So but when it broke down below the 9 down here, unfortunately it's a 5-cent ticker. Usually I don't trade 5-cent tickers, but I was thinking that this thing's gonna go down, which if you see, it has gone down. But I tried it twice, failed twice. I'm not gonna trade it again, not today anyways. But so as you can see on here, I shorted it right at 925, and then my stop was here at the 940 mark. And as you can see, it kicked me out right at 940. It did this on relatively higher volume. So as I saw it coming up, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to get out. There's actually a lot of buyers behind this. So what I mean by volume is the amount of shares that are being bought and sold. So if the candle's green and there's a lot of volume behind it, that means that there's a lot of volume behind it. That means that there's a lot of buyers going into the stock. So there's a lot of people with hope that, oh yeah, Kodak's going to be the next, other big company that's going to change blockchain and all this stuff. It's not. So as you can see, it hit up here. This is kind of where the resistance is, the bottom level of resistance from yesterday. So let me zoom out here a little bit. Actually, it'd probably be a lot easier to see it on the 5 minute. So I drew. So that is right around the bottom of yesterday's low. So that's kind of where it hit. Yesterday's low, and it came back. So I got kicked out of that on the 1 minute, and silly me, I took another stab at it. Now let me go through that. I'll go through that trade again. I went short right at 959, so that is somewhere around 940. Yep. So like I always do, I always short things below the 9, below VWAP. So I shorted it. I was trying to actually short it right around 9:45, but since it's a 5 cent spread, and it was moving, it's on its way down. It was kind of hard. So I got it right at 9:40, and I believe where did I get kicked out at? Held it for a little while. Yep, I got kicked out right here. I was thinking, okay, well, 920 is holding, so I should probably get out. Literally, I looked away. I was looking at my other monitor, which is right here on my left, and as soon as I turned my head, Kodak just starts going up, and I'm like, okay, this is a problem. You know, I was about to get out flat, and then it goes to 945, it shoots all the way up to 970, and it just keeps hitting 970. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get out. My initial stop was actually supposed to be, let's see here. I think my initial stop was supposed to be somewhere around 975-ish or so. So I shorted it here. It came all the way down to here, didn't really quite work, and it kept hitting 970. So I'm like, okay, well this thing is getting a lot of buyers behind it. I'm not gonna stay in it. Instead of getting out flat, unfortunately, I lost another. I think it was like, I don't even remember, like another $80. I was gonna get out flat, and I don't know, piddle paddled around too long. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just, but it came right back down, right around the 930. Now I look back at it, probably should have stayed in it. Obviously, it crashed down lower, but it's just, it wasn't part of my plan. It was not doing something that I wanted, so I wasn't gonna stick around long enough. So was my initial plan correct? Yes, it was. Was the price action kind of wrong? Yeah, so I didn't stick into it. I would have had half this loss if I would have just gotten out on time. But it's whatever. Now, let's go back to the next trade. So my next trade was on KBH. So KBH. Let's see here. So KBH I took right at 941. It was something that I put on the watch list this morning. So right around here, right at, I believe I took it right over 37.50. Oh, actually, no, I took it. Bought at 36.78 for some reason. Oh, that's right. Did I take that on the 1 minute? Oh, that's right. I did take it. Yeah, I took it over in the 1 minute. Usually I don't. Usually I would be using the 5 minute chart, but this time it kind of worked out. As you can see the 9 EMA that's kind of curling up underneath of it, and it was already gapping up. All it's doing is taking a rest, and so my entry right here was the high of this candle right here. So 376. Let's see. Yeah, so 376 is supposed to be my entry. I got it right at 36.78 as it was breaking over. And my stop was right here at 36.58. So I sold KBH at 37.31, and then I sold the other 100 at 37.30. So I sold it up here. As you can see, it was kind of jangling around right here in this area. My entry was down here, so it was phenomenal exit, really. I can't really complain about that. I think I made somewhere around 200 on that. And then from there, I switched over to the 5 minute. I just kind of let it breathe, give it a little breathing room. And I went back to KODK. There it is. Okay. So then after I got out of that, I was waiting for a 5 minute setup on KBH. And as you can see, almost exactly the same thing, but on a 5 minute. Also, right here, this is basically a flat top right here at 37.50. So you can see just in this area alone, right here, just so you guys can see it really well. So right here, 37.50 was the breakout area, right there. So you can see that the candle came up right to 37.50. The next candle came up. It tried to sell off, but it came and hit 37.50 again. Then the next candle did the exactly the same thing. So I knew that spot that there were a lot of sellers, and if we could get through that 37.50 mark, that we would definitely be able to go up a lot higher. So I took that into consideration when we had a little bit of a pullback here. What I did is I got in over the high of this candle, so it's basically a bull flag. And so you see the stock pulling up like a pole. It pulls back 1 or 2, 3 candles, and then your entry would be the high of this candle. So right here, the high is 37.36. Actually, it was 35. Yeah, 37.35. I got in right at 37.36 with 500 shares. Then I knew that the breakout was over 37.50. So then I took that into consideration and I added another half. So I went in and I had 750 shares. I went in at 37.48. So I had 750 shares with an average of 37.40. And I just ripped it up. I took 500 off at 37.62. And then I took another 150 at 37.74. So I was up here. At this point, I was up already $200. And then I took the last 150 at 37.74 as I was seeing the market kind of pull back. So I expected KBH to be doing exactly the same thing. As you can see, it pulled back just about right. So it pulled back almost all the way back to VWAP, and I just let it go. So that was 2 good trades on KBH. I was up $435. Can't complain on that. Now, the other one that I took was WLL. So I got WLL from my scan. So what I do is I run a scan during certain times. When I see the markets going up, I look for stocks that are already moving up so I can catch it with the momentum. So I saw KBH right here. I saw KBH or WLL right here. So WLL was throwing up, basically, it's like a hammer. A hammer is a candlestick pattern. That means it tried to sell off, but it got bought up. That means that there is more buyers than there are sellers in that candle. So as you can see, I got it right here, 29.76. What's the high of this candle? The high is 29.74. I wrote it up to around 30. I didn't like the price action around 30. And so I got rid of it at got rid of 200 at 29.96. It broke 30 and then it came back. It broke 30 and then it came back. A lot of the times that means that there's just too much resistance in that spot and you might not be able to get through it. It might pull back one more time and then maybe give it another shot, but I was already having a good day, so I went ahead and took all the shares out and I was up $80 on that. But as you can see, WLL did exactly that. So it pulled up, failed, and then it fell very hard. So right to VWAP. Exactly the same thing. So I did not get back in WLL. So as you can see, I made the right decision by getting out at 29.96. So that's something that you'll learn as you watch the tape and you learn to read level 2. You'll see a lot of buyers and sellers, and you'll see the sellers push basically the sellers back down below 30, and you'll be able to know that there's just a lot of resistance during that spot, so you might want to get rid of your position. Or the market might be switching directions, and that's something that you might want to take into consideration as well. Let's see here. The next trade I took one more trade on APA. I believe somebody had called out APA. Actually, no, I got it off my scanner right here. So this is my scan for stocks that are going up. So if you see, I'll show you what my scan looks like for stocks that are going up. So all I look for is for stocks over $10 that have changed over 3% since the market opened and have traded over 100,000 shares. And then what I do is I just hit the volume button right here. And then it'll categorize everything that has traded over 100,000 shares that's up more than 3%. And what I'll do is I'll just go through the list really fast. I'll just type them in. So obviously Apple. Actually, I would probably, during this time of the day, I would probably change this to like a 5. Yeah. Over 500,000 shares. And you can see these are all the stocks that are up over 3% that are between $10 and $350 and have traded more than 500,000 shares uh, during the open. So what I would do is just go through Apple, MGI, DST, it's not really doing that much, VIAB, it's doing all right. So I would just go through the list and see if there's any patterns that I like. So during that time, I ran across APA right here. So as you can see, I drew it out for you guys. So this is just an ascending triangle. It's super basic stuff. I just noticed that there was a top right here at the 4608, and I drew it from the bottom, and as you can see, it's going up, up, and up. The VWAP is underneath of it, the 9 is underneath of it, so it's pushing it up. And when it breaks the 4608 mark, as you can see right here, there's a lot of volume. Hold on a second, where'd it go? Nope, not that one. This candle right here. Nope, it's this candle right here. So you can see that there's actually considerably a lot more volume behind this candle than there was in the previous candles as it's consolidating. So when it's moving sideways, all it's doing is just consolidating. It's gathering up strength for it to be able to break through. And that's when you're able to see the pattern. You kind of ahead of time know that, hey, there's a top here, it's going up, so it's just forming a wedge. And when it breaks through, it should break through with more volume, meaning that there's other people that saw the pattern and it will play out in your favor, hopefully. So as you can see, I got in APA 500 shares at 4608, right at 4608 as it was breaking. I saw it breaking out, and then I sold 300 at 46.29. Now during that time, I believe the market was actually pulling back a little bit. So let me see if I can. When was this? It was around 11:30, so probably somewhere around here. Yep. So as you can see, the market was actually, it gave up on the highs and it was starting to pull back a little bit. So I went ahead and got rid of the shares. So I did 300 and 200, and I ended up making $85 for that. Now, the reason why I was being very cautious with the market during this time is because if I pull up the SPY is the S&P 500, and it's the top 500 stocks and that are traded.